It's another episode of the CHL Top 10 show presented by IKEA. I'm Scott Van Koenig. This week, I sit down with two players from one of the hottest teams in the CHL, the Winnipeg ICE. We talk about everything from taking the next step as a team, scoring first career hat tricks, lacrosse goals from unlikely sources, and who's the most likely to get a hair endorsement. Let's hear from Matt Savoie and Conor Geekie. Riding a 15-game win streak, joining me from the Winnipeg ICE are Buffalo Sabres prospect Matt Savoie and Arizona Coyotes prospect Conor Geekie. Guys, how you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good.
I'm good. By the time this airs, the Kia CHL Top 10 rankings will have been released, and for a seventh time this year, you guys are going to be at the number one spot. No surprise after back-to-back wins this weekend. This is nothing new for you guys, so you probably don't follow along too much, but how nice is it just to be at the top, being recognized for how good your season has been so far?
Yeah, it's it's definitely exciting. It's an honor to be, at the top of those rankings, but from our group and from our standpoint, we don't pay too much attention to those. We're really focused on what we're doing day to day and just improving as a group and continuing to get better.
Yeah, kind of like Matt said, I think, for the most part, we're just, looking for the next step ahead and, try not to look too far in the future, kind of just stay in the present.
Well, like I said, you're on a 15-game win streak right now. So are you guys superstitious at all? Like, do you guys talk about it in the room? Do you avoid it? What's the room like?
I think for the most part, just try and stay away from talking about it too much. Just go do your routine, play your game. I think a lot of the guys on our team, older group, we got a lot of guys with routines, and they get to the rink and they're kind of doing the same thing before every game. So it's easy to get in a rhythm and have your best stuff every night when you know what to do every time you get into the rink.
Yeah, and I think, we try, if it comes up, right, it's one of those things where we'll talk about it, but we try and stay away from it. I think, we're focused on practice, whether we're working hard or whatnot, but our management's really good at, always making sure we're, doing our part and trying to get better away from the rink as well.
Now, you guys have scored more goals than any other team in the CHL this year. You've got three guys that aren't you in the top 10 in WHL scoring in McLennan, Peterson, and Benson. So what does that say about how deep you guys are and how good of a team you guys are?
Yeah, I think, from top to bottom, we have a lot of depth. We have a lot of guys that can play a lot of different situations. And I think that just makes us, a lot more dangerous, having different waves of guys that can attack and put up numbers and defend real well. So I think that's been really the recipe of our success so far this year.
Yeah, and I think just being able to, rely on different guys, right? When some guys not having their night, I think it's good to have those other guys, whether it's, your fourth line or your first line. I don't think we really specify kind of what our first and third line are. It's just kind of whoever goes out there and, you're ready to play.
Yeah, how nice is that for you guys to know that, if you contribute, great, but if not, somebody's there to pick you up each night.
Yeah, I think, it's all about finding ways to contribute. If you're an offensive guy and puck's not going in the net, find a way to, have a positive impact on the game and, help the team win. So I think our group's done a really good job of doing that and just filling roles and, helping each other out.
Yeah, I think that's what makes us so good, right? Just being able to have those guys step up, when you're fighting the puck a little bit or not on your A game, I guess you could say. So I think just, lots of depth, like you said, and I think it brings us closer as a team, whether, someone scores and they haven't scored in a while or, someone blocks a big shot.
You guys came in together as the first and second overall picks in the 2019 WHL draft. Is this easily the best ICE team that you guys have played on so far?
It's tough to say. We've been on some really good teams in the past couple of years. Last year we had a really good team. The year before, in the bubble, there was a really good team with the COVID year. But my excitement's with this year and this group. I've never been more excited to come to the rink every day and compete and get better with a group of guys. So for me personally, my focus is solely on this year, and I'm excited what the boys can do.
Yeah, I think kind of like Saf said, there's a lot of good teams that we've, been a part on in the past 3 years, but like he said, I think we're going to learn from last year. I think we're really going to kind of take everything in and, really solely focus on this year. I think this is a big year, and I think we can do something special with this group.
Well, maybe what did you guys take away from that conference final loss to Edmonton last year that you can use to make yourselves better this year?
I think a lot of experiences. Coming into the playoffs last year, we were not a very experienced team. With COVID shutting down playoffs the last couple of years, we didn't get to get the whole playoff experience and see what that's all about. So I think just having more experience this year, knowing what to expect going into a 7-game series against a tough physical team, I think it'll really help us with our preparation this year and how ready we are.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where we're just learning outside from the rink, right? Whether it's watching video, the workouts that we're doing after games, working out in practice. I think we're just putting a lot of more work in this year, and I think we know what it takes, and we don't want to fall short.
So what other steps do you guys need to take to be able to get to that next level and earn that spot at the Memorial Cup this year?
Yeah, I think we've really kind of learned, a lot of things from last year, like I said, but we've been working out a lot as a group, and as individuals, you can feel it in the room how dedicated we are and how badly we want to win. There's not too many times where we're not all going 100% during practice. I think it's just way more competitive. I think we've kind of got to that step, and now it's just whether we follow throughout the whole year.
Yeah, I think kind of echoing off what Geek said, everyone's trying to push each other day in and day out here. I think the amount of times we work out each week has gone up significantly from last year. So, just subtle changes like that to get the most out of your season and the most improvement you possibly can to coming into playoffs, it'll be big.
And then management goes out and they bring in Sward, they bring in Beaupit. I know there was a few other additions earlier, but what does that do to the mood in the dressing room when you see that they're making additions to bolster your attack and lineup?
Yeah, I think it's obviously we they're great guys. They've came in and we welcome them like family, but I think they kind of know what they're getting into as well. I think everyone, if you're coming into Winnipeg or you're playing against Winnipeg, kind of the dedication that we have, the hard work, the drive. So they fit in nicely, and obviously they've been 2 great additions.
Yeah, kind of like what Geek said again. Obviously, 2 really big pieces, good players. They can play, up and down the lineup. They bring such a big element to our team, and it's exciting as a group when you get 2 new guys in that play at the level that they do, and have the presence they do in the locker room. It's it's really good to have those guys, and just the more comfortable they get, they're just going to keep getting better.
Well, like I said off the top, you off a week where you had a couple of wins against the Regina Pats. I want to ask, you guys have been the most successful team at limiting Connor Bedard. Obviously, he's really hard to shut down, and he still managed to get a goal and 4 assists against you guys.
8 o'clock, the opening face-off. Savoie wins it, and we're underway tonight. Glad to have you with us. Pats intercepted the neutral zone. Here comes Bedard in a hurry. Bedard cuts in to the net. He scores! 10 seconds into the game, Connor Bedard, and it's 1-0 Pats.
But you limited the damage. How are you able to do that against such a talented player like him?
Yeah, I think, it's kind of a whole team effort. He's a special player. He does some things with the puck that you don't see too often. He can shoot from just about anywhere. But I think when it really comes down to it, it's just about being physical. I think that was kind of our game plan. And just trying to stay on him as much as we could. Know when you're out against him and try and shut him down.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just having awareness when he's on the ice. He's a pretty sneaky player, so just knowing where he is, making sure he doesn't get behind you, and just limiting his time and space, being physical on him. That was one thing we were really harping on, and I thought we did a good job limiting his chances.
And he gets that goal 10 seconds into the game on Thursday, and then Matt, you ended up with the last laugh with your shockingly first career WHL hat trick and 3 assists to go with it.
Now to Savoie. He'll fire. He scores! Hat trick goal!
Connor, were you surprised that was his first hat trick, or did you know that?
I knew that. He's been close, though. He's had a lot more opportunities to get it than me, that's for sure.
And Matt, were you surprised when Connor got his first hat trick earlier this year, or again, were you aware that he hadn't gotten one yet.
Now the Tigers turn it over. 2-0. Bruce, one-timer off of Lenko, and the save, but it's in the back of the net as completing the hat trick is Conor Geekie.
I honestly thought he got one last year for some reason, but I was wrong. Obviously, must have just been a couple 2-goal games. But no, I was obviously really happy for him when he got his hat trick for sure.
And then a couple of weeks ago, you guys faced off against the 15-0 Red Deer Rebels, and you ended their streak. Just kind of putting a stamp on the fact that you guys are the beasts of the East right now.
It's a meaningful win tonight. The Winnipeg ICE are the first team to beat the Red Deer Rebels.
Yeah, for sure. I think, that was a big goal of ours. I think it was marked on the calendar for a long time. And especially with their success and knowing kind of how they play and, they play a stronger game. So we really just tried to focus on, the practices before that week. I think we're, similar to how they kind of play and, how hard we need to work to beat them.
Yeah, those are games that are really easy to get up for. A team comes in, they're 15-0. They play a really hard style game. They play almost like, playoff hockey all season. So, what you're getting into night in and night out against a team like that. And, I like the energy we brought for those two games. And it was good to come out with the win for both of them.
So conversely, if you guys are getting up to face a team that's on a big heater like that, what do you guys do to prepare, knowing that everybody's circling the calendar when they see your team coming up next?
Yeah, I think we just try and take it game by game. I think that's one thing that we do really well. As players and as kind of coaches, we try not to look too far ahead. I think we know now that from last year and even this year that any team can beat you. I think we just can never take a team for granted. I think that's one of our big mottos in the room, and just always coming to play.
Yeah, kind of like what Geek says, just taking it one game at a time really keeps your focus and your mentality, on the task at hand, and having those rituals and kind of your pregame routine kind of gets you into the the right mindset to play each and every night. Doesn't matter who your opponent is. So I think just having the right routine, the right guys around you really gets you ready for every game.
Yeah, how much better does it make you guys knowing that you're going to get the best from everybody each night?
Yeah, I think you put a lot of faith into our team, right? So every game we trust everyone, whether it's player position or do your role. I think everyone on this team kind of knows their role, and I think that's what makes us another very strong team. Again, it's one of those things where we can play better as a whole, just knowing that everyone's gonna come to play and try and do their job.
Yeah, I mean, when you got 20 guys working to do the same thing and contribute to the same goal, it's pretty special. And when the rest of your teammates are working as hard as they can to do their job and contribute as much as they can, it's pretty easy to go out there and put your best foot forward and do anything you can to help the team win.
The core of this team has been together for a long time now. So how much closer are you guys than, say other teams that you may have played on in the past? Obviously not in the WHL, but does it, and when new players come in, is it easier to bring them in with a core group that's been together for so long?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of comfortability there between the players and the coaches. I mean, we're really familiar with the coaching staff and each other. So when new guys come in, when returning players come back, I mean, we welcome everyone with open arms. And, I think the dynamic in the dressing room has just been so good the past few years, building the chemistry between everyone. It's, it's really come full circle this year. And, I couldn't have asked for a better group of guys.
Yeah, I think you also got to look back to, Connor McLennan and Owen Peterson, who were there when, Kootenay was having a hard time. And I think those guys really bring it up. Carson Lambos was there as well. When it comes down to it, they're our leaders for a reason. I think Ben Zloty's in there too, just keeping the room loose or whatever that may be. But I think that's what makes, our team feel so good. I think, we got all those leaders and we're all headed in the right direction with their guiding.
You mentioned Zloty, and I was going to bring him up later, but we'll talk about him now. Did you guys suspect that he would be the first one on your team to score a lacrosse goal?
Back to Benson, back to Zloty. Zloty back behind the goal. Uh-oh, here's a chance. They score! It's the Michigan! And so a little trick shot there from the defenseman for the Winnipeg ICE.
No, not really. You definitely don't expect a defenseman to be behind the net very often and doing skill plays like that. But I mean, when you watch him in practice, you can definitely see it. He's a special player. He's a special player with the puck. His skill level is so high, and it was definitely really cool when he pulled that move off.
Yeah, I was in a little bit of shock. I'm not put it that way. I think we were on the bench, and I think he was in quite some shock too. But no, you like Sav said, you see what he does in practice, and some of the things are just plays that it's pretty incredible to watch be made. And he's a great person. He's a great guy. He's an even better player.
And that was a clean one too. Like it wasn't like the puck was rolling. He picked that up and put it in. So
Yeah,
that was pretty wild. Getting drafted. Matt, I guess we'll start with you since you went first. What was the experience like, or just being in Montreal together, and then watching each other get drafted, but getting drafted by Buffalo and then Conor getting drafted by Arizona. What was that moment like for you guys?
Yeah, it was unreal. It was a very special moment. Had quite a bit of family members there, and then obviously my immediate family right next to me, which made it even more special. Geeks was right behind me, so getting to go through the whole experience with him and my family was just nothing I could have asked for, and everything I dreamed of. I mean, going on stage, getting to experience putting the jersey on in front of 20,000 people, getting to meet the Buffalo staff and going to the table. It was all just a dream come true, and just a day I'll remember forever.
Yeah, I think it's pretty tough to put into words how you're feeling when you go through it. Having my family there was a cool feeling, and seeing my brother go through it, and being able to kind of follow in his footsteps was a pretty special moment. Again, sitting behind Sab was good for us. I thought it was a lot of fun, lots of talking before picks and stuff like that. But like he said, you meet all the staff, and they just take you in with open arms, and it's a really cool experience. But again, it's something I'll never forget, and I'll always cherish.
And then you guys go away to prospect camp and then main camps. What did you guys take away from those? Most of the guys say how it's how everybody conducts themselves there professionally and everything. But did you pick up on anything from some of the veteran guys? I know in Arizona, like guys like Lawson Krause and Nick Ritchie are a couple of bigger guys. Or maybe Jeff Skinner in Buffalo, a smaller guy who scores a lot. Do you pick up on anything from those guys?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just the habits that they have away from the rink. The way they carry themselves, the amount of times they work out, what they're putting into their bodies. They're just so dedicated, 24/7. It's such a job to them, and it's their life. So, I mean, just learning little things and how to, prepare yourself for every day. It was, a lot of learning, and just a great experience.
Yeah, I think I was there for most of the summer as well, and I think you see every day is it's a work day. I think that's something that I really take away from it. Every guy's putting in big work, whether it's Clayton Keller or like you said, Lawson Krause. They're always putting in the work, and I think that's something that I can try and take away from it. And obviously, just how good they are. I think you learn a lot of things with their puck skills and how smart they are.
Is it weird when you guys go to those camps and see guys that you've played against in the WHL?
Yeah, a little bit. You definitely don't expect to see some of the guys there, but you build new relationships too, and you meet some new guys, which is also a cool part of it. Going to Buffalo, didn't really know too much about the city or many of the people there, so was just really looking forward to meeting new guys and spending some time with new people, and ended up meeting a guy from out west, Atlee Calvert, and Mats Lindgren from out west as well. So, pretty cool just seeing some other guys from around your league and getting to spend some time with them, getting to know them a little bit.
Yeah, I think like Sav said, it's not so much shocking. It's just different. When you're kind of around guys you play against. I heard it from Dylan Gunther quite a bit throughout the time I was there. He gave me a pretty hard time about it, but again, like Sav said, you build so many new relationships with so many good guys, and again, it's a pretty cool experience.
Now this year you've got teammate Zach Benson, who's highly ranked prospect for the draft. Give us a scouting report on him.
He's fun to watch. I mean, he plays with so much speed, so much skill. He's always moving out there. He has great vision, great hands. I mean, offensively, he's the total package. I've never seen someone, be on the ice as much as he is. He's always out there, 45 minutes after practice working on little skills. So, I mean, his game is at a really high level right now, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to play with him for 3 years now. He's always been my winger, so you pick up a lot of things that he does. He's just so smart. He knows where to get the puck and knows how to get the puck to you. I think his shots come a long way. He's kind of a double threat now. And like Sav said, he's always buzzing around out there. It's like his motor never quits. I think you can put him out there for 40 minutes a night if you really had to. I think he's capable of doing that. And second of all, he's just a nice guy. He's a great guy to be around. Super funny, and always puts a smile on my face.
Well, you guys both have older brothers playing professional hockey. Morgan's in Seattle and Carter in Bakersfield. How often do you guys talk to each other? How often do they watch your games, or do you guys watch their games?
Yeah, I talk to my brother probably, I'd say every day, if not every second day. Try and stay, in the loop with how he's doing, what the scoop is in Bakersfield, how the team's doing. Haven't been able to watch too many games this year, but whenever I get the chance to see any highlights or any of his goals or anything like that, I'll jump at that chance. And it goes both ways. We both support each other so much, and having a guy like that you can talk to about anything and lean on is huge.
Yeah, I think, me and Morgan probably talk every day or every other day, kind of like Sav said, but, I think we're kind of the family that kind of stays away from, the hockey talk. I think, we have a family group chat that's always buzzing about, everything but hockey. So, obviously I'll ask him, how he's doing. I know he's doing really good right now, and he'll ask me, but, for the most part, it's either, talking about a video game or, talking about, say, his dog, or when he's coming home, anything like that.
Do your brothers have the same heads of hair as you guys?
My brother, pretty much. I think he got a haircut pretty recently, but usually he rocks with pretty similar length to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Morgan wants me to say this, but I think his hairline's a little receding, so he's not quite at my length yet.
Is that an indictment for your future?
I hope not. I really hope not. But my dad's bald, so I guess we'll see what happens.
So between the two of you, because I remember at Prospects last year, there was a lot of hair tosses, not just you guys, but around the room. But you guys certainly dominated your team rooms. Who would be more likely to get a hair endorsement deal?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. The whole warm-up routine, he takes his bucky off, swinging it around. Everyone knows. Everyone knows.
Just a couple more things. What was that experience at the Kubota Top Prospects game in Kitchener last year? What was that like for you guys, getting to compete against each other and just that whole week?
Yeah, I think obviously it was ran super well. I guess it hasn't been on for, I think, was it 2 years before we went there? And it was just a really cool experience. You get to play the best of the best. And I guess playing against Sav was a little different when you go through it. But you meet a lot of new people. I think I still talk to, some of the QMJHL guys that I'm still there with. And you just, again, it's always fun playing against guys that and you get to play at the best level. And obviously the management is super special. You always got the great coaches, and the building was packed, so it's a pretty cool experience as well.
Yeah, it was a great experience for me. You don't get to play against the best players in the league too often, and It's kind of a once a year type of thing. So, it was really cool to meet all the new faces, meet the new coaching staff, to play against Geeks. It was a little weird for sure, but you get used to it and you just try and compete out there and do your best. So, it was a lot of fun in Kitchener that week, and learned a lot.
And Connor, you walked away with bragging rights.
Got this big man in the middle.
Yeah, big time.
4 games this week, 2 against Lethbridge that end your 10-game homestand, and then you're off to Saskatoon to play against the number 7th ranked team in the Kia CHL top 10 rankings. I don't want to look past Lethbridge, but just looking at the Saskatoon game, what do you guys have to do? They're on a bit of a roll right now on a 4-game win streak themselves. So maybe all week, what do you guys have to do to keep your streak going?
Yeah, I think, like we've been doing, I think you got to put in the work when it really comes down to things. Again, we're not taking anyone for granted. I think we're just trying to, keep this win streak going, and, we love the feeling of winning, I guess you could say. So, just try and keep it going and keep putting the work in, and everything should come together.
Yeah, kind of like what Geek says. I mean, I think our focus right now is on Lethbridge and, Lethbridge alone, but moving into next weekend, it'll be, a great matchup. We're going to prepare a lot in practice and in video, and, see what systems we have to clean up for that game. But no, our group's really excited. They're definitely, a division rival, a really highly touted team that we've played quite a bit the last few years. So, a lot of our guys are excited.
Now, Matt, is it a Movember mustache or is this an all-season mustache?
It's kind of a Movember thing. I did it a few weeks ago and just kept it. So just riding with it for this month. Yeah.
Now, if you get another hat trick this month, do you have to keep it for a while longer?
I mean, if that were to happen, that would be a question that I would have to answer. Yes, I might have to keep it for a little longer, but who knows? Who knows?
All right, guys. Really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me today. Good luck this week.
Thank you very much.